How do we get that bud density? How do we get that frosted caterpillar candy packed tightly with trichomes? This is the number one question in every grow group, Cannabis Forum, and of course, Harvest Post. You know the ones who are showing off those rock hard nugs. Of course, most growers and what they promote is buying the right nutrients. You know the ones, the expensive bloom boosters, the bud hardening bottles. But I'm here to tell you, that's not where density comes from. Airy buds are just not one thing, it's many things. Everybody wants one magical solution, but I'm here to tell you, density is a system. For growing out here in Ohio for multiple seasons, dealing with humidity, temperature drops, if you learn one thing, it's not making the same mistake over and over. It's simple, and that's what this is about, simplifying. It's the fundamentals. I want to break down the 5 factors that make great dense buds and the methods that we have used to share with you. And I hope that you share your methods in the comments to help those and to help me become a better grower. What works for you? None of them come in a bottle. Number 1 is the light energy that the plants are receiving from natural sunlight. There is nothing that's going to replicate, no matter how expensive, no matter what they try to sell, than what the light, the sun, is going to give to the plant in their natural environment. It moves around the plant, hitting every single thing. It's not just put in a tent. I can't believe how big this one is. She's almost as tall as me, and I'm 6'6". When you're growing indoors, there's going to be limitations. Even the best LED lights max out, but the sun is going to give you that consistency. The indoor plants just get that fixed point lighting, where outdoors everything's being hit by the sun, by the energy that the plant needs to be successful and growing that top shelf cannabis craft that we are given here. So I'm always thinking about next year, and I want to use this ground here to, get some reflection coming down from the sun and reflecting underneath the canopy. So we'll add, maybe those oyster shells that I talked about. Somebody mentioned the mussels on the boats here in Lake Erie. So it's an idea that I'm thinking about to make sure that we're maximizing the energy that the sun is putting out for the plant to receive. The second part, and this is a big one, because it's the dense buds genetics. And what the genetics hold is what we're told and what we're sold. And can we take the word of some of these seed banks? And we've had that conversation. To find these strains like Northern Lights, the Bubba Kush, the Granddaddy Purples, those 3 plants that I mentioned, because of their genetic structure, deliver those tight, dense buds that we're looking for. Some of those other proven strands that are really nice are the Girl Scout cookies, the wedding cake, and Gorilla Glue number 4. Those strands are known for their rock hard density and have that bag appeal that everybody's looking for. Hey, I want to show these off, and then of course there's those strands that no matter what you do, they're going to have those airy buds, like your Panama Reds, that what I ran into last year. I mean, she just would not mature, and those buds were so fluffy. So I used those buds basically in a lot of the edibles, but even the Durban Poison. But we had success with the Durban Poison. What strains have you had success with? Put them in the comments so we, if I'm not mentioning some of them, for that bud density, maybe, you can share what has worked for you. So genetics play such a huge part when doing bud density, and it's finding those right genetics. We're not sure exactly what we're getting till we start growing them. Number three, environmental conditions play a huge part also in bud density. Outdoor temperature, how are you supposed to control the outdoors when it comes to temperature? You might have swings between 20 and 30 degrees from day to night, but that triggers the density responses. Stress hormones in the final weeks of flowering play a huge part. So those colder temperatures, they produce compounds to protect and to increase density. Consistently in that 85-degree temperature, what the plant is going to do, they're going to stretch the bud and become airy as a survival mechanism. And you'll hear this on all the growing channels. It's all about the airflow. Airflow is so important. It's going to give the plant denser buds because of the air movement, just like what they're receiving right now. And you're going to need that canopy circulation. And that's why Shell Bell took the time and did the lollipopping to make sure that the plant is getting that canopy circulation to flow throughout the plant. Number four is, of course, again, making sure that the plant is receiving what it's supposed to be receiving. The canopy structure is so important. We want to make sure that we're giving the plant, low stress training. We don't want to stress them out. So some of the methods that we use, you can remove some of the fan leaves that are blocking some of the bud sites, but not all fan leaves. You have to be careful. Listen to what they're saying. They'll let you know that you follow them. And make sure you're doing your bottom cleanup. Shell Bell just undressed all of our ladies here for that final stretch into the grow. So make sure that you're taking care of that lower part with the lollipopping, with the defoliation. Everybody talks about, well, how much should I remove? They give these percentages. How do you know what percentages? Because you don't want to send the plant in shock. A lot of growers say, not more than 20%. Do what feels right to you, But again, less is more is less. So take that into consideration when doing that. It takes practice, and this plant is very resilient. We're always talking about opening that canopy is going to allow the better air, throughout the plant, which that's what we're looking for. Number 5, and this is the big one too, harvest timing. Reading the plant. We've come this far and we're almost to the finish line. So let's not get excited. Let's let the plant do what it's supposed to do, is really put that energy into those buds. Now we get into some tools that we're going to have to do some deep inspections with a digital magnifier, and that's what we use, where Shell Bell hooks it up to the phone to get that magnification that we're looking for. We're looking for that cloudiness into the trichomes in the last stage. Those pistil changes, when they start changing certain colors, the oranges, the browns, and they start curling and growing inward. We want to make sure that they're approaching full swell. We want those buds to swell. We want to make sure that they're getting everything that they're supposed to be getting at the end here. And you don't want to cut that off. The plant is telling you, it's yellowing, it's at the end. Don't rush that process. Don't be afraid just because you have yellow leaves. Some of the most common harvest mistakes that have been made, the panic. We all get in that panic. We want to make sure, we put all this time and effort and we start panicking. Relax. Seeing those first amber trichomes. And then you know what? We're gonna trap immediately. You know, take the time. Make sure the plant, make sure the bud has reached its fullest potential. You know, and then growing outdoors is looking at that rain. You know, there's a lot of rain that comes at the end of the season. And you get worried that, you know what, I'm going to get bud rot, I'm going to get that mildew, I'm going to get that disease, you know, and that's why we did the airflow. So that's when we start having a little bit of battles with that rain. And that's why you have to wait for the buds to reach their proper ripeness. And I will show you, as the rain comes, some of the methods that I have used to battle the rain to make the plant successful. Again, show the patience, just as the plant has done throughout. Show the patience, especially the last 2 weeks, because that's when the final weight is put on and the density at the end there. And one of the biggest fears that we have growing outdoors is that humidity, especially when the buds are taking place. We don't want that bud rot. So just make sure the plant can breathe, and it'll breathe with you. Remember, bud density comes down to these 5 fundamentals, all working together. Not just one, but all 5. And this is something that you cannot buy on a shelf. Master the light, the environment, the timing, the genetic structure, and of course, the canopy, the airflow. You will get that frosted caterpillar candy buds that we're all looking for and look to share with you. Let me know what you use to get that bud density, and if there's something that I've missed, so we can grow and help the other ones. That's what the comments. So I'll see you in the comments. So quit chasing those expensive hopes and dreams that they're trying to sell you in a bottle for dense buds. Just stick with the 5 methods that we are, and then we're gonna show you the nutrition, the nutrients to give the ladies in their flowering stage coming up next. I'm gone, but not too far gone, because I'm coming right back. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for taking the time. I welcome those who have stepped in, our new sisters and brothers. And remember, what you put into this plant is what you're going to receive back, just as this channel will. I love you. Thanks for being here.